you so much for joining us.
Of course.
Now let's start things off. Obviously, this is a huge one. We're blowing it out on the show. We're all very excited about it here in Tempe as well as down here in Phoenix. Put this in perspective for us. How big a win is this over Texas A&M?
To put this in perspective, it is right up there with last year's win when ASU went to Palo Alto and beat the #2 team in the country, Stanford, 1-0. This is the second top 10 win ASU has in the past 2 seasons, second under Coach Boyd. And nationally, this has had a huge effect on the team. It earned them 16 points in the NCAA national poll, got them just now 11 spots outside the top 25. So this is a team with just a few more wins here and down the stretch is a team that can squeeze their way into the top 25 and really just explode from there. Great win for the Sun Devils. And then lastly, it won them the Sun Devil Classic. Anytime you can come into your home turf for the first time of the season, win the tournament that you're hosting, that makes a statement to the Pac-12. Pac-12 teams like Stanford, UCLA, the ones that are up there in the top of the country, they know ASU is here to play this season.
All right, so obviously a lot of national attention to the team as well as around the conference. It drew a little bit of national attention for a pair of individuals as well as the team. Tell me about that.
It did, absolutely. Well, Mackenzie Berryhill, one of the main defenders for ASU, was unable to play for the entire weekend. And so instead, Mackenzie Grossman, Sarah Tosti, they had to step up in the center back positions, and they did an amazing job. They allowed just 1 goal to Texas A&M, earning Grossman the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Week. Sarah Tosti, she makes it to the Top Draw Soccer National Team of the Week. Great job. A&M came in averaging 2.8 goals on the season. Just limited them to just only one goal in the entire tournament. So these girls stepped up huge. And we talked last week how Coach Kevin Boyd thought the defense was struggling a bit. They did a great job of really strengthening it this week.
Great. Now, lots to talk about, obviously, with this team going places, but we only have so much time to talk about it. So we're going to do lightning round, okay?
Right,
are you ready?
Let's do it. I think
All right.
Let's do it.
We got the time going, and let's start it off. First of all, New Mexico tonight, keys to the game.
Yeah, New Mexico State, 1-6 right now. They've allowed 12 goals in their last 2 games. The defense is in shambles right now. It should be an easy win. Former head coach for New Mexico State, Blair Quinn, he's now an assistant coach for ASU. He'll be able to give insight on defensive and offensive schemes and then cover their main scorer, Janae Cambra. She's got 4 goals and assists, really the only source of offense for New Mexico. Lock her down. It should be an easy win for ASU. I expect at least 3 goals, 3-goal victory.
Mackenzie Berryhill's been out, didn't practice over the week. What's her status update?
Yeah, biggest loss for the Sun Devils right now. She's been out for a week. Still unclear exactly what the injury is. She's being considered day to day. Most of the week she's just been doing conditioning drills on the pitch. So with the way the defense has stepped up and as easy of a win that it should be this Friday, I don't expect her to play tonight. Take it easy on her, and then maybe she'll play Sunday, maybe not at all this weekend.
All right, 10 seconds left. Callie Farguson, last 2 years, been the leading scorer for this team. She's off to a slow start. What's the deal?
People know who she is now. She's double-teamed almost every game, but, you know, other girls have been stepping up, finding the back of the net, and she needs only 2 more goals to be 6th overall in Sun Devil history in scoring. She'll turn it around. This could be her weekend.
All right, thank you very much, Andrew Chapman. You can see his work on CronkiteSports.com. Once again, New Mexico tonight. Check that out. Now I'll send it back to Jake at the desk.
Ready to go. Thank you, Kyler. I welcome WCSN video reporter Adriana Torres to the desk to discuss some ASU football. Adriana, ASU opens Pac-12 play tomorrow against Colorado at Colorado. ASU a perfect 2-0 on the season. Colorado coming in at 1-1. They had a thrilling win last week against Massachusetts. Now, everyone's familiar with the high-flying offense that ASU has, some of the stars on their offense. But what some people might know is that Colorado comes in averaging just under 30 points in their first 2 games. Who are some of the playmakers on the offensive side of the ball that we should be looking out for?
Well, I just want to start off by saying that the Colorado team is actually the youngest in the Pac-12. Half of their offensive starters are underclassmen, including their quarterback, sophomore Sifo Lufau. And in the past 2 games, the beginning of the season, he's had 5 touchdowns and only 1 interception. The other end of that receiving is Nelson Spruce, and he's pretty much the star of the team. They do a lot of passing. Something they're not so strong at is rushing. Their lead rusher, Christian Powell, actually only has 88 yards gained so far in these past 2 days. So let's take a look and compare ASU's offense versus Colorado's. If we can get the graphic up, there we go. And if you see, the numbers are pretty close to Colorado's, ASU's, and the Buffs. A few of them actually are even higher than ASU's, but these stats kind of lie a little bit. They are in fact true, but they're a little bit deceiving, and that is because ASU has not been playing in tight games where they need to keep their starters in the whole game like the Buffs have. Colorado's been playing till the end. The starters have been in. These numbers are good for ASU, but imagine if they would have been in the whole game. So that kind of shows you how much better ASU is, or ASU's offense is, than Colorado's.
Well, I wrote an article last night dissecting a matchup that I thought would be important for this game, and I felt really validated to know that you felt the exact same way.
Right.
So enlighten the audience. Who's the matchup that you think will have the biggest implication on the final score tomorrow?
Well, like we mentioned, Spruce, their receiver, it's going to be against ASU secondary. Spruce has had 4 touchdowns. He's completed 17 passes he caught. Is actually leading Pac-12 in most rushing yards with 124.5 yards average per game. Of course, only 2 games, but he's the guy to watch. He's always going to be down there. Colorado is going to play to him. One thing that ASU needs to watch out is making sure he doesn't get that ball, and he is covered. A few guys that will probably be on him is Lloyd Carrington is probably going to be on him most of the time, and then Armand Perry. We'll see maybe him on him a little bit too, but actually looking at some Colorado newspapers and stuff, I saw that that Spruce was telling the media that ASU has an athletic defense, so he obviously looks up to them in a way that he knows that it's going to be challenging. So I think that is the guy to watch, Nelson Spruce. Otherwise, ASU's going to win.
Well, exactly. ASU a perfect 5-0 in the all-time series against Colorado. They've never scored fewer than 40 points, never allowed more than 17. So some domination may be in store for tomorrow night. And speaking of domination, from one dominating team to the next, we're going to send it out to Dominic Cotroneo and Allison Cummings, who are here to dissect the unveiling of the roster for the defending champion Arizona State hockey teams.
It has been an eventful couple of weeks for the Sun Devils squad. The maroon and gold game has come to a close and the final roster has been released. I'm Allison Cummings alongside Dominic Cotroneo, and Dom, head coach Greg Pout's going to have a really tough time picking out his lines because this team is just so deep.
Last year the team was so deep that you could match a third lineup against any second line in the nation. This year it's going to have a little tough time replacing the 6 guys in those first offensive lines. I mean, you lose 220 points from last year. Your top 4 scorers, obviously Cale Delinsky, the MVP really of the ACHA, but he's brought in some big recruits and even a couple of NCAA transfers that can really help this squad remain as deep as they are on offense.
Some big skates to fill for sure, but we actually caught up with head coach Greg Powers this week at practice, and I had asked him who has been the standout line for him so far, and this is what he said.
I was really impressed with Cooney and Burkemper and Cummings. They seem to have a lot of cohesiveness out there. They didn't put anything in the net, but they had a lot of chances, and I would say overall as a line, they probably had the best production, on both ends of the ice, minus not scoring. So
really well in practice, but for you, Dom, who do you think is going to really stand out this year?
In the maroon and gold game, it was Sean Murphy and Ryan Ostertag on the left and right wings respectively. Those guys are so fast as a first line, and normally they'll be centered by Liam Norris, but for the game it was Ryan Belanger, and he did a really good job getting forced into such speed around him, and he adjusted well. They actually had a shorthanded goal in the maroon and gold game, and also for Liam Norris, he wasn't there, but he's accustomed to being on the top line, and he'll have no problem adjusting to those guys. And another speed so that you have to look out for, a D2 call-up in Coda Engbar.
Yes, and this past week, Ryan Ostertag, Sean Murphy, he was centering a line between Ryan Belanger and Fez Khan. So coach has really been experimenting as far as where he wants to put him in the line. But if I was the other team, I would not want to race him at all. No, pretty quick guy. But let's transfer now to the defensive side of the puck. Much different scenario than last year because there are 9 guys. Can you break down the defense?
Well, you're really going to start 6 of them with 3 defensive pairings, and you're not going to change Captain Brett Blumgren with Drew Newmeyer. Those guys were absolutely fantastic last year. And a guy that I want to look out for is Connor Schmidt. Schmidt is a guy that is a transfer this year from Ferris State, who previously played in the USHL, but let's take a look at a couple of clips from the maroon and gold game that really impressed me and what you have to look for from this balanced defenseman. Here we pick things up in the first period. He's back here on the fence, circled there. He's also wearing red pants. You'll easy to notice there. He's about to dive here to make sure that this goal breakaway is thwarted. Now he's already back up and headed back because Maroon has the puck. All of a sudden, a turnover in his own zone. Look at all the ground he has already covered from being flat on his belly to the neutral zone in just under 7 seconds, and immediately he's back on defense, gets a stick on the carrier, and doesn't allow a full shot. Now here, he's waiting patiently outside of the boards. He's in the red pants again. Now it comes free, and pickpocket there to get the other way. He starts the odd man rush. He's a balanced defenseman in the fact that he can start things the other way. He also notices that Maroon takes a change here, so he has to come in as the forward. He handles the rebound, sends a wrister off of Levin's mask. But still, he's aggressive from that side, and he's not afraid to take the shot. And in fact, he had a goal later on in the game, a wicked shot from the point. Really look out for Connor Schmidt this year.
And I want to go back to his player he was laying out on the ice. I've only ever looked that cool when I was 6 and on a slip and slide. But also another defensive pairing that won't be going anywhere, I'm sure, is Alex Timby and Jared Levos. They completely broke it out during the national tournament, but that'll do it for hockey this time around. For Dominic Atronio, I'm Allison Cummings. Now back to the desk.
Ready for it.
All right, thank you very much, guys. Appreciate all that phenomenal insight. All right, now it's time for some fun news for longtime ASU fans that's fresh off the presses this morning. The school announced just a few hours ago that former Sun Devil great and current Los Angeles Dodgers outfield Andre Ethier will be inducted with his wife Maggie Ethier, née Germain, into the Sun Devil Athletics Hall of Fame. Maggie was one of the most successful gymnasts in ASU history and a 2-year All-American. Andre had a career .371 average and was a 2-time All-Pac-10 selection, leaving the school on fire with a 23-game hitting streak that I guess is technically still active. Andre was selected in the second round of the 2003 MLB draft by the Oakland Athletics, has been with the Dodgers since 2005, winning a Silver Slugger Award in 2009. They'll join 4 other former Sun Devil greats October 18th for an induction ceremony at halftime of the Arizona State football contest with Stanford. Now it's time for a very special segment where we take a look beyond the court and into the personal lives of the coaches and athletes we cover, but only in the most superficial and least work-intensive way possible. We call it Tweets of the Week, and we're joined by Jason CHESLER. Jason, take it away.
Hey, thanks for the toss, Kyler, and thanks for dealing in with not 1, but 2 stand-ins this week. That's right, I'm not supposed to be here, much like Jake Garcia filling in for Trey Lanthier. I'm here for Cam Neely. So if you object to any tweets we've sent out this week, you can take it up with Cameron. If you object to any of these tweets, you can take it up with Sun Devil Athletics, because they said it, we picked it. ASU Athletes Tweets of the Week. Let's get it going with someone doing their best Cameron Neely impression. Jameel Douglas, one of Cam's favorite phrases, hey, come get this work, Madden work in this case.
So I happen to know, and you can see DJ Foster there saying he's coming right over, I happen to know from spending a little bit of time with the team that the game for the ASU football team, at least in summer camp, was FIFA. Zane Gonzalez, perhaps not surprisingly, the kicker on the team, is the main FIFA guy. I heard some of the other guys, your Jalen Strongs, your Taylor Kellys, not good at FIFA, so maybe they're moving on to Madden.
Yeah, I feel like the only reason this tweet was relevant was because Cam saw "come get this work" in it. I have no idea what this tweet, how it impacts me whatsoever. I'm personally terrible at video games, so why don't we just go to the next tweet?
I didn't want to say it.
Jake Garcia does not approve.
Thank you, Jake. We were all thinking it. But hey, changing of the guard in video games with ASU football. Now back to the real world outside of video games. Whitney Follett looking out for the Haboob. It's coming close. And of course, inside information, Whitney Follett is from Canada. Haboob probably pretty scary for her.
Oof. Yeah, classic live tweeting there of the Haboob. I know from firsthand experience that Mauricio Casillas, who also works on this show, was doing the exact same thing. So maybe they had some kind of intercourse going right there. I'm not sure, but live tweeting, always favorable.
Probably not any kind of intercourse, let's be clear on that. Perhaps some kind of intermingling, a dialogue about the Haboob.
Possibly.
Obviously a natural phenomenon here in the area.
And
Very
Mauricio
bizarre.
Casillas, not Canadian. Don't believe the hype.
That is correct.
Our last tweet of the week. Big drum roll here. Hey, this one's for Kyler Mead,
Oh.
of course. Sun Devil assistant coach Blair Quinn. He has a new baby boy, Kyler, as a, I believe, 3 consecutive year winner of WCSN's Father of the Year award. You got any tips?
Yes, absolutely. Bailey, let me just tell you, none of us have any idea what we're doing. That is a beautiful child. Wonderful congratulations to Bailey Quinn.
That child has the possibilities to either be really athletic, because its dad actually played indoor soccer, Sacramento-based team, or because it was born so close on the day to Trey Lanthier's birthday, could have some ill effects there, possibly making it really unathletic.
Watch out for a little bit of red hair, then you'll know which way it might be going. All right, thank you very much, Jason. Appreciate you being here. Now, the ASU women's volleyball team was rolling along without a loss, undefeated, until this morning when they were upset in a sweep by Louisville on the road, forcing me to rewrite this very script, which is inconsiderate, I think we can all agree. However, to make up for it, I'm sure they are in fact playing another game as we speak. With a breakdown of how this powerful Sun Devil squad got tripped up earlier today, we'll send it over to Jake GADON and Zach Pokleb. Guys?
7 teams are ranked in the top 25 for women's volleyball out of the Pac-12. For Zach Pokleb, I'm Jake GADON. 66-7 is the Pac-12 thus far this season. 7-1 against ranked opponents. So it's not like they're playing bad talent. Zach, is the Pac-12 that deep this year? Are they just that good?
The Pac-12 is in fact that good. When Washington is the second best team in the Pac-12, they're the defending national runner-ups with the defending AVCA Player of the Year, Krista Van Sant. And Stanford is the best team in the conference. They're number 1. They just beat Penn State. It was a fantastic weekend overall for the Pac-12. I mean, UCLA had the win probably of the weekend for the conference, going into Illinois and beating the number 9 team. UCLA was unranked, and Krista Lowe had a career game, 29 kills, the most she's ever gotten. And so that's just a testament to how deep every single roster is on every single team for the Pac-12.
And you also have Oregon State and Cal barely not making the top 25. So if they make the top 25, that's incredible for the Pac-12 conference. But our 15th ranked Sun Devils, they do have some studs coming back from. They have Macy Gardner, Brielle Bailey, Bianca Ariano. So these girls have been there before. They know what to expect when it comes in crunch time. They lost this morning to Louisville, so they have some adversity coming up. They just lost their first game. What can you expect out of these girls this year?
Well, as far as talent, ASU matches blow for blow with any other team in the conference. However, last year where they faltered was their mental focus and consistency on the court. They were a little young. They weren't really sure of themselves. And in October, it showed when they failed to win a single match. Now this year, they're much more deliberate in their mental focus, in their mental process. And so we'll see how they bounce back from adversity, again, losing to Louisville. Now, Louisville was a good team. They just dropped out of the AVCA rankings. So we'll see how they do against Northern Illinois. They dropped that first set. However, if they can respond better, this is a mature group. If they can respond, they'll be fine. Because in the Pac-12, match after match, when you're facing Stanford, USC, Oregon State, Oregon, these teams are just so talented. Any other conference, they would be top 3 teams, but they're in the Pac-12. The Pac-12 is a bloodbath. We'll see who comes out at the end of the conference season.
Pokleb speaks. For Zach Pokleb, I'm Jake GADON. Let's send it back to the other Jake at the desk.
Thanks, guys. Quick update from ASU's current volleyball game that they're playing against Northern Illinois. ASU down 2-0 in the set count and down 16-9 in the third set. We'll try and keep you updated as we monitor that progression. But what does every coach value in a player? Versatility, the ability to be selfless enough to sacrifice playing your primary position for the position that best utilizes your talents to help the team. Junior ASU soccer player Sarah Tosti epitomizes that characteristic as she has bounced between forward and defender and excelled at both during her time at ASU. WCSN's beat writer Anthony Persino caught up with her.
Right back, then right outside forward, and now center back. Sarah Tosti has been moved all over the field to help the Sun Devil soccer team. Before coming to ASU, Tosti's role on her team had only changed once. She always played in an attacking position, but her senior year of high school, Tosti was moved to the back line.
My club team we were in need of a center back, and so I just kind of stepped there. It was after I had already committed, so I was letting other girls in their positions show other colleges so they could get recruited.
Despite her experience attacking and defending in the middle of the field, head coach Kevin Boyd decided to place Tosti in a new position as a freshman.
I thought she was going to play right away. I didn't necessarily think she was going to start right away, and that's always up in the air. You never know how a freshman's going to respond walking in the door. But I thought she would play right away. I thought she would play forward, maybe attacking mid. I didn't think she would play right back for us.
I remember it was our midnight scrimmage that we had. I was playing forward, and then Kevin, our coach, put me at outside back, and it had been a position I've never played before. And so it was kind of scary for me at first because I didn't really know what I was doing. and transitioning into it was hard for me, I think.
We didn't have a clear-cut player set for that position. We had a few we were looking at and a couple we were trying to convert. And as we got through our second game, I believe it was, we realized that the ones we were trying to utilize weren't quite good enough yet. So we moved her back and she stayed there the rest of the year.
Her sophomore season, Tosti moved to a familiar area, forward. She assisted 1 goal and netted 4, including one of the biggest goals in ASU history. She hit a 25-yard shot to beat Stanford, who hadn't lost a match at home in 73 games.
Yeah, I think everyone is capable of making any sort of play like that, whether you're on the outside, playing center mid, playing center back, playing forward. I mean, saving a goal is just as good as scoring a goal, I think.
She's clever, she's smart, she's calm, she can handle a ball, she's good in the air, she's got a really good shot with both feet, she can head the ball to finish. I mean, all things that you want a player up top because they can score goals.
Going into this season, Tosti was projected to continue at forward, Boyd said. Caitlin Pavlovich's graduation left a hole at center back, but Boyd recruited a player to fill that spot, freshman Taylor Kuhn.
She's going through that same freshman transition, and until she's ready, we decided to move Sarah back. It wasn't about, is that going to hurt us on the front line as much? It's more about, well, we got a hole right here, and we need to fill that hole, and who is the best to fill it? And she was clearly the best to fill it.
Kuhn will develop into a strong center back, Boyd said, but it will take time.
She's having to go through the huge transition and trying to get the speed of the game, and there's just there's a lot more dynamics and demands on you at this level than the youth level, and she's having to learn those things, and it takes a while. It's hard to predict. You just kind of wait and see how they're doing and who's ready to step in where.
Boyd said there's a low possibility that Sarah Tosti will be moved forward this season, but he is confident that Kuhn will have the ability to step in alongside Mackenzie Berryhill next season. I'm Anthony Procino, WCSN.
All right, thanks very much, Anthony. Now, Anthony Procino, by the way, folks, absolutely indispensable member of our technical team. Absolutely could not do this show without him, so it's nice to see him get a little bit of play on the other side of the camera. Well done on that. Now, it's time for something that a couple of weeks ago when Trey was here didn't go so well. And let me tell you why. Trey and I, and what we're about to do here is the debate segment of our show. We're about to bring back JAYSON CHESLER, but before we get to that, Trey and I agreed on every single debate topic 2 weeks ago. It was just disgusting.
I'm pretty polarizing, so that won't happen this week.
I brought Jake in, and now we're going to make sure that there's no agreement. Debate. It's going to be real. Now, we've got JAYSON CHESLER in to make sure it's real and to moderate. JAYSON, take it away. What do we have?
Absolutely. I'm still here. Cam, I guess, still out fighting crime, saving the world, picking up his dry cleaning. I'm not sure. We're going to start things off, try to create some chaos between you guys on the football field. ASU football, they look good. They do look good. Haven't been tested yet. Where do they finish in the Pac-12 South?
Well, I think they're going to finish third, and let's have some background information right here. Mark May, one of the biggest Sun Devil critics, said that ASU is now better than UCLA after UCLA's poor performances in the first few weeks. I'm going to say the Sun Devils are still the third best team in the conference, and here's why. UCLA stacks up very nicely against Arizona State. Their strengths match up well with Arizona's strengths. Forced 3 turnovers against Virginia in their first game, so they've proven that they can somewhat minimize defenses or offenses. Granted, ASU's offense and Virginia's not that comparable. And then USC, they've already completed the brunt of their schedule. They beat Stanford. It wasn't a pretty game, but they came out on top, so they're just that step closer, that much closer to topping ASU.
I'm going to disagree with you, and I'm going to make a bold prediction. ASU will finish Pac-12 South #1, and this is the reason why. UCLA and USC have some tough schedule stuff coming up. USC still has to play Notre Dame, who looks phenomenal. UCLA still has to play Oregon. A lot of stuff going on. ASU from here on out, USC and UCLA are really the only tough competition that they've got to face.
And Notre Dame.
You know, Kyler?
I think they'll be okay. I think the matchup is nice. I think they're raring for a little bit of revenge after that thing down in Dallas. So I'm going to say ASU #1.
Kyler, you know how to take a risk while still, hey, playing it to the fans. That's a smart anchor. That's the veteran presence of Kyler Meade. Point clearly to Kyler. Now, from football to football, or footy, as the English call it. That's right, ASU soccer.
Disgusting.
They call it that, I swear. They put spaghetti on toast as well.
This is
Strange
America.
society. So, fine, ASU soccer. A lot of seniors graduated, whole new team. They can pull the upset, we've seen that. But who will be their leading scorer? Guys?
I'm going to say Allie Moon. She's out to a huge start. Callie Farquharson has had a little bit of injury issues. Listen, Callie Farquharson is going to be right there. She's phenomenally talented. It's what she does. She scores goals. But what Allie Moon has done is she's come in. She's brand new. What Andrew said back in the other studio about this team is people know who Callie Farquharson is now. Allie Moon is new, and she's fresh, and she's excited. She's already got a head start. I say Allie Moon will be the top scorer on the team at year's end.
I view this question in a similar way that I view prospects in baseball. So you see these guys, Will Myers, George Soler, get called up and they just obliterate major league pitching. But there's always an adjustment period. There's always that time where teams start to key in on them. And I think that point is going to come soon with Allie Moon. Pac-12 teams are going to notice her and they're going to start putting extra defenders on here. Callie Farquharson is proven. And she's proven she can do it before, back-to-back 10-goal seasons. I can't bet against that. Got to take Farquharson. Hey,
I crossed countries, crossed cultures with my toss. Jake, you crossed sports with your analysis. That's what I like to see. You got to pick up on these things, Kyler. Come on.
That's fine. That was excellent.
Point to
excellent
Jake.
Done.
Well done. Now, hey, we're going to finally get off a football field, go indoors to the hardwood. ASU volleyball? Not quite. Pac-12 volleyball. Which undefeated volleyball team in the Pac-12 is the most impressive? And don't just give an answer, guys. I shouldn't have to say why, but and why.
Here's my team and here's my why. The Stanford Cardinal, top-ranked team in the country. They've already beaten 3 teams with inside the top 10. They have experience coming back. They've lost the most sets relative to the amount of games they've played, but their schedule has by far been the toughest. I'm taking Stanford.
Listen, Stanford, obviously an incredible team, but if we're talking about impressive, everyone knows Stanford is great. I'm going to take another one. Arizona, as hard as it is for me to say, but hey, I already picked ASU to finish first in the Pac-12 South, so we're okay with the fans. Arizona Wildcats, they've only lost 1 set, and you know what? Nobody saw it coming from there. Sure, the strength of schedule hasn't been as difficult as Stanford, but if we're talking impressive, Stanford's doing what they're supposed to do. Arizona's impressive.
Hey, good points from both of you guys. Valid interpretations. But you know who won this debate? Trey Lanthier. It's his birthday. It's his birthday. He's in our ears. He's threatening to make annoying noises if he doesn't win. Trey Lanthier, you are the debate champion. Happy birthday.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Jason. Good to have you here, and I hope Cam Neely's dry cleaning has been effectively handled. Now it's a time for our show where we talk about the top plays, and we've got some good ones. Roll tape. Kicking things off, literally, it's ASU, Texas A&M. You've already seen it. Tie game, Rachel Ottomer off the corner, in the net, off the head. Look at this. She get up. 5-3, folks. She got the hops. Must be wearing her PF Flyers today. Tie game. We're going to see more of this game in a little bit.
Well, you've got 1 play, Kyler. I've got 5. How about Brielle Bailey, a sophomore on Arizona State's volleyball team? Minimal back row experience before this game. Only 2 service aces all year last year. In this match against Idaho State, she's going to rack up 5 of them. Look at that form. That is fundamentally textbook right there. Proper placement, then benefits from some miscommunication, some confusion in the Idaho State court. This girl has athletic blood in her family. Her dad played in the NBA.
Very impressive. Now number 1, back to ASU, Texas A&M. Score! Mackenzie Semerad, dying seconds of the second half off the cross. The keeper cannot get it, and that will knock off a top 10 opponent in the process. Number 6, Texas A&M falls to ASU. A fitting top play. Mackenzie Semerad, congratulations. Well, that's the end of our show, Jake. And listen, I have just loved having you here along with me.
It's been a great time.
Obviously, we've missed having Trey at the desk. But let me just say, before we close things out, and remember, lots of great ASU sports to watch this week. It was weekend, beg your pardon, New Mexico tonight. So want to check that out, ASU soccer, trying to keep it going. But let me just say real quick, Trey Lanthier, wonderful happy birthday to one of my closest and dearest friends. I absolutely love you. This show would not exist without you, and so much would not be possible. America would not be enjoying mine and Jake's faces if it were not for you, Trey Lanthier. So, to you, America, and to you, Trey Lanthier.